Hi boys and girls, this is Mrs. Powers coming back to you from my kitchen. We're going to take out our passages here like we did yesterday. We're still talking about animal nonfiction, even though we're going to read two different passages. The first one is nonfiction, a true story about a smart crow, and the second, When the Lion Was in Trouble, which is fiction. So we'll be comparing and contrasting, but in this unit, we're talking about animal nonfiction, real stories about animals. This is always a favorite because everybody loves animals and loves stories about animals. So if you need to pause the video to get this packet out, go ahead. But I'm going to read to you a true story about a smart crow. The little dog was in trouble. Who got the dog in trouble? A crow got the dog in trouble. The crow was a doctor's pet. The dog was the neighbor's pet. First, the crow got in trouble. The crow tore up the neighbor's cabbages. The neighbor was very mad. The neighbor said, "Doctor, your pet crow had better stop. I will not let your pet crow tear up my cabbages." The doctor took a cabbage leaf. He said, "No cabbages, no cabbages." The crow was smart. The crow knew he was being told not to tear up the cabbages. The next day, the doctor heard the neighbor's dog barking. He went outside. What did the doctor see? He saw the crow holding a piece of meat with its feet. He saw the crow flying just above the nose of the little dog. The crow led the dog through the neighbor's cabbage patch. As the dog chased after the meat, what did the dog do? He tore up the cabbages. And we can see here a picture of the story. There's the crow with the meat, the cabbages, and the dog. I know dogs can sometimes be destructive, especially puppies. Our next story, When the Lion Was in Trouble. The lion and the mouse here. A little mouse was looking for seeds. All of a sudden, wham! A big heavy thing was trapping the mouse. The mouse could not get away. What big heavy thing was trapping the mouse? It was a big lion. The lion had its big heavy paw on the mouse. The mouse said, "Please, Mr. Lion, let me go. If you let me go, I will be your friend. One day when you are in trouble, I will help you." The lion laughed. He laughed because he did not think a little mouse could ever help a big lion. Still, he lifted his paw and he let the mouse go. A few days later, wham! Now the lion was in big trouble. He was trapped under a big heavy net. He could not get away. The mouse came. She gnawed at the net. She gnawed through the net ropes. She freed the lion. The lion said, "Ms. Mouse, you taught me that a little animal can help a big animal. You taught me that friends come in all sizes." That was a nice story about them being friendly. Let's flip over to Show What You Know. Remember, you can pause the video at any time. Why did the dog chase the crow? A, the dog wanted the crow's meat. The dog wanted to get in trouble. The dog wanted to tear up the cabbages. The dog wanted to stop the crow from tearing up the cabbages. Well, we could go back in that passage and let's find out, why was the dog chasing the crow? I'm going to go to the end of that passage in the last paragraph where it tells me right here, the dog chased after the meat. So I'm going to highlight, the dog wanted the crow's meat, A. Number 2, when the mouse gnawed at the net ropes, she was trapped, lifted her paw, bit through them, was getting into big trouble. So let's go back in that passage. When the mouse was gnawing through that rope, what was she doing? Let's see. Again, I'm going to go to the end where it tells me she gnawed through the net ropes. Gnawed is a big word. Gnawed meaning right here, G-N-A-W-E-D. That would mean to bite through something. To keep chewing would be to be gnawing. And the G-N makes a N sound. We don't say the J there. So the mouse was chewing through that rope. So she bit through that. And that was kind of tricky because if you didn't know what the word gnaw meant, you might skip it when you were reading or go around it, but it would be bit through them. Okay? Number 3, what do both stories have in common? They are both about being trapped. They are both about animals helping. They are both about animals in trouble. They are both about big and little animals. What do you think? What do both stories have in common? I really think there could almost be 2 answers to this. So I'm going to actually pick 2 answers. Sometimes I know they try to trick us. I'm going to pick C and D because there were animals in trouble in those stories, different kinds of trouble. The dog and the crow were getting in trouble with the farmer, and the mouse and the lion were in trouble with a trap. Also, a mouse is little, a lion is large. The crow was little, the dog was large. So I'm going to pick both of those answers because I think you could look at it either way. And I'm curious to see what you would think if one is a better answer than the other, now that you've read both stories. Number 4, a fable is a made-up story. It is a story that teaches a lesson. What lesson did the fable when the lion was in trouble teach? Don't tear up cabbage plants. Friends come in all sizes. Look out for big heavy nets. Tell your neighbor when you are mad. What do you think was a lesson that the lion may have learned from the little mouse? We kind of learn it in the beginning of the fable. So I want you to go back in the passage and see if you can find that. You can pause the video while you're looking. I chose friends come in all sizes because even though that mouse was little, by gnawing and chewing through that rope, he was able to help the trapped lion. Number 5, why was the neighbor angry at the doctor's crow? A, the crow had gnawed at the dog's meat. B, the crow had trapped the neighbor's dog. C, the crow had led the dog into the cabbage patch. C, the crow had torn up the neighbor's cabbage patch. So if you need to go back in that story, why was the neighbor angry at the doctor's crow? Well, that tells me in the first passage, or the second passage, the first paragraph, right up here. The crow tore up the neighbor's cabbages, which would be D. So you can take a minute, freeze the video if you need to, pause it, check your answers. On the back, it says practice your handwriting. Pick one word from the story to write on the line below. You know what word I'm going to pick? Gnawed. Because I think that was a good word for us to learn about. Gnawed. But you can pick any word that you would like. Go ahead, freeze, fill in your word. Number 7, fill in the boxes based on a true story about a smart crow. Okay? So you can fill in these boxes here. Number 8, complete the chart to show what happens in the story when the lion was in trouble. Sequencing, first, second, third, fourth. Write one or more sentences that tell what each story is about. A true story about a smart crow is about. When the lion was in trouble is about. Think about what the crow did with the dog. Do you think the crow knows friends come in all sizes? Tell why or why not. So you could pick yes or no to that. Number 7 is kind of a tricky one. So a true story about a smart crow has the doctor and the neighbor. The crow was the doctor's pet. The dog was the neighbor's pet. The crow didn't tear up the cabbages. But yes, that dog did, chasing that crow for the meat. Complete the chart to show what happens in the story for when the lion was in trouble. What happens first? Well, that lion caught the mouse with his big paw. The lion freed the mouse. Then the lion was trapped by the net, and the mouse was freed. Freed the lion by gnawing through the rope. And I'll let you use your opinion on the bottom to write what each story was about and the why or why not at the bottom.